Today we're in Bastide Saint-Antoine, a hidden gem 30 minutes from the coast, famous for its top-notch chef, stunning terrace views, and a certain winter specialty, dishes infused with fresh local black truffles. So if you're up for an unforgettable meal, this is the spot. And guess what? You could even stay overnight, explore Grasse and check out its iconic perfumeries. We're zooming into the hilly hinterland of the Côte d'Azur, where north of Cannes, you'll find the city of Grasse. In the green countryside below the old town, with views as far as the sea, Chef Jacques Chibois has found his very own paradise and opened his famous restaurant La Bastide Saint-Antoine almost 30 years ago. Right here in the yellow country house where Bougainvillea will make for a bright purple wall a little later in the year, celebrities like the Kennedys and Mick Jagger have spent weeks and months, Mr. Chibois told us. Jagger still drops by regularly and talks about the funny old days of the late 60s and early 70s. We'll come back to that when we take you to the hotel suites. Because Anya and I are actually mostly here today to try some truffle dishes. We were treated to incredibly delicious and beautiful dishes, starting with these fantastic amuse-bouche before moving on to the even better stuff. Jacques Chibois has shared his recipe for the mushroom soup with us, and we're sharing it with you. Check out the description below the video. When we asked about Monsieur Chibois' love for cooking with truffles, he told us that he sees black truffles as quintessentially French treasure, boasting exceptional quality and aligning perfectly with winter cooking. He also said that black truffles are referred to as black diamonds that we would offer to those close to our hearts. A truffle meal becomes an invitation to share quality time, an embodiment of the joy and emotions that define French cuisine at its core, making every meal a celebration of togetherness. The most important characteristic of the black truffle is its fragrance. To Monsieur Chibois, truffles are magic. They enhance other ingredients. So he suggested keeping dishes simple to create the perfect stage for truffles.
Et le reste est un support pour la truffe.
Donc, est-ce que tout le monde pourrait cuisiner avec de la truffe? Moi qui ne sais pas cuisiner du tout, est-ce que
C'est vraiment très simple.
Cooking with truffles is a breeze, we learned, as Monsieur Chibois advised minimal cooking. Whether raw or grated on dishes like risotto, their fleeting fragrance is best preserved by adding them at the last minute.
Et si vous cuisez trop, il n'y a plus rien. Donc ça se met au dernier moment.
We learned a lot about black truffles that day, fungi that smell and taste way better than they look, while at the same time we were impressed by the armada of cooks working hand in hand, and by how it can take 15 minutes for a single plate to end up looking like this. And we were happily satiated after an incredible meal that even ended with a dessert that was refined with truffle cream. I've actually known Monsieur Chibois for quite a long time. Back when I worked as a journalist, I remember it must have been at least 10 years ago that he took me to the market in Nice, where he goes every morning at 5 a.m. He goes there to get fresh vegetables and everything. I met up with him in the middle of the night. And yeah, we went to Nice and did the shopping together. If you want to go truffle shopping, there are truffle markets all over the place in winter. Our region is rich in truffles. They grow all around. The most important markets are a little further west, though, in the departments of Vaucluse and Var. Here on the French Riviera, a truffle market is held in a different town or village every week from December to the end of February. In January, there's even one at the Bastide Saint-Antoine in Grasse. And every Friday, you can buy truffles in Le Rouret.
Hey, if this is the second video you've watched of ours, do us a favor and subscribe. And now let's go back to the film.
Anya and I went to Griolière last weekend, a tiny place in the mountains an hour from the coast. And apart from all kinds of fine local products, there was a stand with the famous black diamonds, run by the local truffle growers union. For €120 that day, you could get 100 grams of truffles. They also sowed mycorrhized trees, host trees that will form a symbiotic relationship with truffles, such as hazelnut trees, oaks, and lime trees. So why not grow your own delicacy? It'll take around 5 to 8 years until you can dig up your first black tuber. We were told that in our region, in the very southeast of France, the warmth and calcareous soil are ideal for truffles. Even though today, host trees need irrigation due to climate change. And here's a cool tip for locating truffles. When there are no weeds around a tree, but burnt soil instead, that's an indicator that mushrooms are active in the ground. Now let's get back to the Bastide Saint-Antoine, where Jacques Chibois promised to show us his hotel and the garden. There are over 1,000 olive trees on his enormous property on a hilltop, some of which are ancient. And every year he produces endless amounts of olive oil, pressed at the Huileries de Sainte-Anne, by the way, which we've already shown you in another video. His Relais et Chateau hotel opened in 2000, and we expected nothing short of stunning. Spacious rooms and suites in the yellow main building from the late 1700s are all different, but all are decorated with a typical Provençal touch, light colors and lovely details. But what we were most impressed with were the stunning views. When we headed to the former stables of the ancient property, today a more contemporary place with lots of wood, stone and leather, it suddenly became obvious that Monsieur Chibois had saved the best for last, the penthouse. And while we discovered the entire building, the so-called extension, we learned lots about the history of the Bastide, where the Kennedys spent their summers for 20 years straight before World War II, and where Mick Jagger stayed for a year in the early 70s because he was friends with the owner's son. Back then, the Bastide belonged to an industrial family from northern France. So if you decide to stop by, perhaps for the truffle market held at the Bastide on the first weekend in January, don't be surprised to encounter familiar faces.
So now you are here and you stayed overnight, you should absolutely check out Gourdon on your way home. So, and if you don't have any clue about Gourdon, never heard of this little tiny village, just click on this video and you will find out a lot more to do.